New 7-day login champion skill kit breakdown. How are you going to react to it? I know a lot of us wish that this was the skill kit, but this is what we're getting. Let's break it down. Let me show you guys exactly what my feelings are on it, where it's going to be used, who it's going to benefit, and is it really a legendary? What's going on, guys? Blazin here. Welcome back to the channel, and thanks for joining me on another Raid Shadow Legends video. All right, so a lot of us are going to see this new 7-day login champion, and I'm just going to beat right to it, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
So the fact that you're going to be able to get her Soul Stone, or her 5-star Perfect Soul, is phenomenal, to be quite honest. And the way that they're going to do it is actually, I like this, right? You're going to have to do, basically earn your points by going through and doing faction wars, dungeons, arena, clan boss, campaign. This is actually, Plarium, I commend you on this part, that, you know, it's actually very good. So kudos on this. It's phenomenal, and you're going to give us some accessories and stuff for her. So it's good. I love it. I'll take it. And you guys are phenomenal with this. I want to see more of this than some of the other stuff we've been doing in game. I'm looking at her skill kit. Chronicle Adrian. I mean, first of all, she looks cool. I don't know if you guys have seen the 3D visual of her. We'll put it up over here on the top right. But the skill kit, I don't know, man. We go from Ninja to Rhonda to even Alexander having some sort of case use, UDK, Artak. I'm throwing some big names out there, guys, but we Wukong, come on, like let's be a little serious about some of the free logins they've given us. And then this one is a little underwhelming. All right, let's go through the skill kit, and because we got a lot to unbreak on this video. So first of all, the A1 attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance, books up to 75% chance of transferring one random debuff from this champion, and also has 50% chance, books up to 75 of removing one debuff from, or one buff from the target. All right, so the A1, it's okay. All right, it's not 50 chance. I wouldn't book it for the 75. It's not something I would really want to do, right? I can't really think of a certain case use anywhere. All right. The A2 Healing Script restores 25% of all allies destroyed max HP. That right there sounds really good because of Hydra, okay? Then heals all allies by 25% of this champion's max HP. Okay, cool. She, I believe, is going to be attack-based, so we could probably, let's say, endgame players will scale her up to 100k HP, so you'll get a 25k HP back of a heal. Basically restores everything back, right? And a decent heal, depending you have the gear for it. Early game accounts, I don't know. You're not using anything, you know, if you're trying to get in some Sand Devil comps, maybe, but you're not going to use her anywhere else, right? So I think the A2 is completely underwhelming, and I'm not trying to be hyperbolic here, guys. Like, I really think it's just underwhelming. Like, I can't, other than Hydra, I can't really make anything else for her. All right, A3, Breath of Sleep, has a 75% chance of placing a sleep debuff on the target for 1 turn, books up to 100% on a 3-turn cooldown. Awesome. Right there, my first thought was Sand Devil, right? Replace Siphi. All right. Good and bad. Let's go into the second part of the skill kit, which is also has a 75% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed and a 50% decreased attack on the target for 2 turns. Okay. So far I'm thinking Sand Devils. Second part, Sand Devils comes out because I can't decrease the boss's speed. So all I can do is put a decreased attack. Guess what? When the Sand Devil comes up, the decreased attack gets cleansed. Doesn't help me, right? Will we be able to make some comps with her using Sand Devils? Of course. But, you know, it's not going to be anything game breaking, right? It's something that's probably already out there. And I think Cornelia is a good substitute to do what Siphi does, right? I've seen some comps with that. The third part of her skill kit here on the A3, debuffs placed by this skill will ignore block debuffs. Does that really matter? Where are you going to need to worry about going through block debuffs? You're not going to use it in Hydra, right? Because what are you going to put it? Decrease speed and decrease attack? Okay, it's placed, so you have a chance to land it if the Poison Cloud is out, but arena-wise, I'm not going to bring her in, right? And then the passive. All allies deal 3% more damage for each debuff placed on them by on the enemy by this champion. So what are we going to do? Max 3 debuffs, let's say best case scenario 4 because of the sleep. 12% more damage. I mean, it's not going to be great. It's not going to be great, right? Unless you're starting off with like a Gerped up Muxbeard who's going to have already a poison on you, or somebody that's going to give you a poison. You're not going to have the full potential to try to get this done. And then the aura is ally in all battles by 60. Let's be a little real here. Is she game breaking? No. And to be quite honest, where do I see her being used? With that in mind, I look at my $10 whale account series, right? She is going to be a champion that I would probably book to 6-star to help me out with some faction wars. But I think Rector Drath, who's an epic, has a better skill kit than her. Okay? We get the decrease attack on the A1, even though it's only at 50% for 2 turns. We get a heal for all allies, plus a Perfect Veil, right? Perfect Veil gives us the damage reduction. We get a revive with a Perfect Veil on a 4-turn cooldown. And then whenever a ally is under a veil or a Perfect Veil, heals them by 10% of their max HP. Also increases their resistance by 50. So it's really hard to say that this new legendary champion that we're going to be getting is going to be great. Now, a free champion is a free champion. And again, I think the only players that are going to benefit from this are really early game. Where do I see her being used? I think the first part, again, is going to be for faction wars, right? She can come in and she can help me clear a couple of the faction war stages. And that's pretty much about it, right? She's not going to do anything crazy because she doesn't have a revive, right? She doesn't have a revive. Let's look real quick, actually. Let's take a quick peek here at the Bannerlords. And I don't even want to look at the legendaries. Let's look at the rares and epics. You have Ursula the Mourner. Has a 40% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 10%. You don't build her with accuracy, but let's say if you had to build her with accuracy like you would this new legendary, would she be better? Attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack, books up to 100%, okay? And then also gives you an increased attack for 2 turns on all allies on a 3-turn cooldown. Then her A3 revives all their allies with 75% HP, then fills their turn meter by 50%, also places a 60% increased defense buff and a 25% strengthen on all allies for 3 turns on a 5-turn cooldown. And then her aura is Doom Tower. That kit's already better than what this new legendary is going to be giving us, right? Let's talk about, and even if we're just talking about pure usability, I'll just throw Lady Annabelle in here. All you need is masteries, and she helps you take down one of the strongest and toughest Doom Tower bosses out there, Bommel, right? You don't need to have her fully booked. You don't need crazy insane gear to make her work. You just need her 6-starred with some masteries. War Master, right? So, you know, even, and I hate to say this, but even Chancellor Yasmin might actually be better than her, guys.
I don't believe you.
Attacks one enemy and places an extra hit on the target that has no active buffs, right? Heals all allies by 40% of their max HP. Heals by 60% instead if all allies have less than 50% HP. And then has a 50% chance, books up to 75% chance of removing all buffs from all enemies, then places a sleep buff on them all for 1 turn who have active buffs. And then all battles, 20% speed aura. Like, she brings the heal. Yeah, she doesn't, you know, she doesn't restore enemy max HP destroyed. But again, I don't see where this new champion is going to be used. I think a lot of the epic champions, to be said, in the Bannerlords faction are going to be way better than her, right? Now, again, let me get back to the point of where I think she would be used and what accounts would be used. So the accounts that would definitely be using are accounts like my $10 whale account. Like I said, I have a very limited roster. Having any legendary champions out there, just because of their basic stat boost, is going to be beneficial, right? I mean, having her over, let's say, DJ, just because she provides the extra stat boost and she's a little more tanky and has an aura, up to like stage 20 dungeons to progress to them, she's going to be great. Will she be kind of like in any of my teams for stage 20 dungeons? I don't think so. Where else could she shine? Well, all right, so we talked about faction wars. Let's go dungeons. Dungeon-wise, I think the only place that she'd be actually able to shine is maybe Fire Knight, and that's because she brings the decreased speed and the decreased attack and restores the enemy max HP. So early game, trying to climb up, because the Fire Knight does reduce our enemy max HP when we get hit, she can help out with restoring that, right? But that's only going to be useful up to about stage 20. After that, the stat check and the stat requirement is going to be a lot higher, so we can't really afford to have a champion like this to use as, you know, as a oh shit type champion. Like if she had a revive, hands down, she would make it all the way up to my stage 25 team, but she doesn't, right? Sand Devils 25. Okay, she's going to be neutral affinity, so we could probably get some comps working with the A3, right? But like for my main account, I have my 2 Nuts, my Siphi, my Kymar, and then I have my Riho. Could she replace my Siphi? Yes, it's on a 3-turn cooldown. You come in, you go, you sleep, you go Riho, or let's say Ramantu if you have Ramantu, and then you blow up the boss with the double nuts, and then you reset, assuming your newts are, you know, at least like 270, 280 speed. But the thing you're going to have an issue with that is if you're trying to use a lower speed, the lower speed newt, you might be a little bit of a problem with that because you don't have the turn meter boost. Siphi brings in the turn meter boost to be able to get the newts to go before the boss goes second time. Cornelia, there are a couple of comps that work with her. They're not 100%, but neither will this one, right? Because we still have that 3%. It's not irresistible. So she could come in for Sand Devils, but you'd have to use some legendary books. I'll try to do some comps with her there. I'll test her out. I'm a content creator, so it makes sense for me on my main account. But as for the alt account, I don't think I'd be investing any books in her. To be quite honest, guys, I would probably invest books in Pixneal over her, because at least Pixneal is going to provide me a freeze to control my opponent for any of the stages that I need to try to climb up. Anywhere else, I think she's going to be okay. She could work in Iron Twins because she does bring the decreased speed, right? So coming into, you know, depending on which affinity you're going in, that could help, right? But if she weak hits, although she does play, so she shouldn't be able to weak hit, so maybe that might be a little bit of a change. So we will test her out there and some other comps, but I don't foresee her being absolutely game breaking, not at all. Could we use her in Arena? Well, early game, again, you probably could. For an account like mine on the $10 whale series, I could bring her in. She could give me a support, right? Because Wreck the Draft right now is probably better, to be quite honest, and that's because she has the revive. But this is kind of the team that I run. I've got Kymar, I've got my increased attack, I've got my reviver / healer, and I have my nuker. Could she be a replacement for Wreck the Draft? Maybe, depending if I build her fast enough. But then she's going to require the same stats as my Kymar, so she's going to need to be fast with a high accuracy to at least use the A3 as a first start. So do I see this happening in my account? No. 3v3 Arena, not even going to happen. Live Arena, not going to happen. Clan Boss, if she had some sort of a cleanse, guys, I would say yes, let's go for it. But she doesn't. She has no cleanse whatsoever. She's got a heal, which again, early game up to maybe like hard or brutal could help you heal back up. But again, looking at most of the builds this early, you're not going to be able to get, you know, if you get on a brutal team, let's say you're lucky enough and you can build your brutal team with about 50k HP on her. At a 25% K, at a 25% heal back, it's going to be, what, 12,500? If you're already taking that kind of hits on Clan Boss at 12,500, most of your team's going to die anyways, right? So you're better off bringing like an increased defense or some other sort of damage mitigation. Hydra, again, early on, I'd bring her in for like some normal hard teams because she can give you a decent heal if you have her built with high enough HP. I would not even build her with accuracy, to be quite honest, guys, because it's not worth it. I would just build her as fast as I can and relentless for Hydra and just, or maybe even reflex, because I'm not going to waste my books on her. Not doing it. 100% not putting books in her. On most of my accounts. I will do it on the main, just because, again, testing purposes and providing the content. But overall, she's not a champion that I would go out and sought to book. But I could see her used maybe in normal and hard because she does restore the enemy max HP, and she gives a pretty decent heal. Not crazy. As for Doom Tower, again, she's got a pretty decent heal, but she's going to take the spot up of, let's say, my Rector Drath, who already brings the heal and a revive. Do I risk that? No, right? And the 60 in all battles aura is not a big one, right? Rector Drath actually brings a better Doom Tower aura because she brings in a 55% or a 55 resistance in Doom Tower. And last but not least, Centranos. If she's an option, again, I would not book her, right? So campaign-wise, she's not going to do a lot for you. She'll help you survive trying to get some of those stages, but that's it. All right, so my final thoughts on this champion. What are we talking? Is she going to be useful for everybody? So endgame accounts, no. Late game accounts, no. Mid-game accounts, if you haven't already gotten your Lydia and aren't, if you haven't already done your progress for the Bannerlords, she'll still have a little bit of use because of the heal, but nothing crazy, right? She could put the decreased speed and the decreased attack on the boss, and that's pretty much about it. So she's not going to be. Early game accounts will see some progression with her. And the only reason is, again, because she is a legendary champion. She has a little bit more of a stat boost than most epics or rares that you're going to be able to get. And let's face it, legendaries take less damage when they're built compared to everybody else because of those stats, right? So she will help out you in those areas of the ways. I don't know if, suggesting-wise, booking-wise, don't waste your books, right? Use her without the books. Gear situation, what would I actually suggest you putting her in? And for gear, I would say either Relentless, especially if you're not going to book her, right? And I beg you guys, don't book her, please. Don't waste your books, right? Book your Pixneal over her.
No. Wait.
And I'm curious to hear what you guys think about the Pixneal comment underneath. But either that or Reflex, right? But she's not going to be account changing. She's not going to be account game breaking. So those are my thoughts, guys. You can let me know what you think down below. But I think overall, she is just a very underwhelming champion, and I don't foresee myself doing much with her. Thanks again for checking out the video, guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out in Discord. I'm always available. Thank you again for following on Twitch and on YouTube. Appreciate you guys very much. And if you have the time, make sure to join us on Sunday for the Knights of Teleria podcast, where we talk about everything Raid Shadow Legends. You get some of your favorite streamers, content creators for Raid Shadow Legends, and it's just a very fun time to have. We have some good banter along the way, and we try to be as brutally honest as possible. That said, guys, wish you all the best. Wish you all the best RNG luck you can possibly have on your sharp bowls or whatever you're doing in the raid. And as always, much love, much appreciation. Be safe, be well, be good to each other, and I'll catch you guys next time.